This morning, we have Esther Penner with us. She is the author of Laughter Growing, a Mennonite-Mexican Boyhood. Esther, thanks so much for being with us.
You're welcome.
And so you were talking just before we started about why this book is called Laughter Growing, and I think that's a good story.
Well, it's called Laughter Growing because Isaac, it's about my husband Isaac Penner, and Isaac means laughter. In a way, that name embodied him because he had a great sense of humor. He loved to joke and laugh, and he loved little kids. He loved to play with them. He loved to tease them and amuse them, and he was always whistling and winking and just... He was a lot of fun, and laughter was just the right name for him. And we as a family remember him for the way he whistled while he worked and his optimism and his positive can-do attitude. So it seemed a fitting name for a book about him.
Yeah, it's called Laughter Growing, and in this book, Isaac grows up. It's a story of his childhood growing up in a Mennonite village in Mexico. And you said this is a collection of stories that you've heard from Isaac, from his mom, from his siblings.
Yes, and they would tell these stories over and over and over till, you couldn't forget them. And I wrote down the list of stories a long time ago. And my husband told about climbing a windmill when he was 5 years old. And his mom found him there standing at the top of the windmill, and she nearly had a heart attack because she was afraid he would fall down and kill himself. And another time he was playing outside, she came and looked, and he had a snake in his hand. And he thought the snake was beautiful. It was black and red, and he was having a good time. And she, again, nearly had a heart attack because it was the deadliest snake in the village, she said. And she called it a fire snake. That's a direct translation from Low German. I don't know what it was. I can assume that perhaps it was a coral snake, and other stories that he told like that and that they told.
Yeah, and you can hear Isaac's joy of laughter as a lot of these stories. They do have a humorous element to it, and I think this book is a lot of fun to share with people that you hear stories from. Like I shared a lot of this book with my parents, and they're talking about, oh yeah, I remember hearing about things like that, and that reminds me of this story, and that kind of is a testament to the importance of keeping stories like that in the family.
And that was really the main reason I wrote it, for my children, for my grandchildren, so they would have the story of their father and their grandfather to remember in a tangible way. Yeah.
And for anybody who's got a Mennonite background, you'll enjoy the bits and pieces of Low German in there, and little and words and things that you recognize. So I think you did a great job capturing that spirit in the book.
Thank you. I wanted. I know the Penner family at the time lived quite a poverty-stricken life, but I did not want poverty or sorrow to be the main theme. I wanted to portray a family who knew how to make the best of life despite their struggles, and who worked hard and lived well and laughed a lot.
He who does not work doesn't eat.
Yes, that was part of the story. When they went begging, they were told that since their father didn't work hard enough, you had to work to eat. And they often had to go begging for food. So
and you can read those stories and more in this book. If somebody wants to get a peek at this book or get a copy of it, is there somewhere that they can go?
There is an email, laughtergrowing@gmail.com. Also on Facebook, you look up Laughter Growing. And, of course, Amazon. Friesen's books are available on Amazon.
Yeah, awesome. Well, definitely somebody get a copy of this book. You did a great job writing it, and thanks so much for sharing these stories with us.
You're welcome.